I believe that I win. I feel I can win.
Oleksandr Usyk doesn't waste words. He's made it crystal clear. He's walking into the ring with one goal: victory. No showboating, no media theatrics, just a calm, quiet storm of unwavering confidence that chills those who dare to question him. Usyk isn't interested in selling a fight. He's already mentally locked in. A seasoned warrior, he's climbed to the summit before, staring down giants and leaving as the victor. Now, as July 19th approaches, he's not only preparing for Daniel Dubois, he's already thinking,
you know, when you get the opportunity, I want to win. I want to beat him as well. He's been up there a while, and he's had his day. So now is my time. I'm really confident and ready to fight.
Beyond him. That's how clear the task feels to him. Dubois, however, has no interest in playing along with legacy narratives. He came out swinging, literally and verbally, dismissing the idea that Usyk deserves reverence. To him, Usyk is a relic, a ruler who's overstayed his welcome. Dubois didn't speak with mere confidence, he radiated it. There was no forced humility, no respectful nods to past accomplishments, just raw, unapologetic ambition. For Dubois, this isn't a title fight. It's a hostile takeover. He's treating the bout like a
class act, a mature individual because he's older and wiser, comes from a completely different background. But Daniel Dubois is growing into himself. This will be one hell of a fight. This will be a proper fight, like all of the Usyk fights have been.
Coronation, and in his mind, Usyk's reign is already buried 6 feet deep. Simon Jordan added fuel to the fire, calling Usyk a seasoned, elite-level operator with the experience and mental fortitude of a true champion. But the real spark came when Jordan turned his attention to Dubois. He spoke of a fighter finally growing into his own, both physically and mentally, a man stepping into his prime, no longer defined by potential, but by presence. Jordan made one thing clear: this won't be a routine title defense. He's predicting war.
Now is a different machine.
Self-confidence will be...
And time waits for no man, as the saying goes. I just think that this is a fight that it's exciting. It's a good fight. You've got to make Usyk the favourite, but it's a fight that Daniel Dubois can definitely win.
Explosive battle that could rival or even outdo Usyk's past wars in the ring. Carl Froch added another layer to the build-up, portraying Dubois as a reborn monster, a fighter transformed and ready to shock the world. But even as Froch amplified the threat Dubois poses, a sense of desperation bled through. His praise, though intense, felt like a setup for disappointment, as though preparing fans for an outcome already written. Froch tried to sell Dubois as a legitimate challenger, but the shadow of Usyk loomed too large. Behind the hype, it was clear: Dubois may be stronger, more focused, even dangerous.
We saw a perfectly legitimate match that was not scored by the referee. He chose, for whatever reason, he could have been conned into it by Usyk, which makes it a cheat.
Dangerous. But Usyk is more than experienced. He's elite. Froch's words, intended to elevate Dubois, instead highlighted just how massive the mountain he must climb truly is. Then came Don Charles, who reignited controversy over Usyk's last fight. He openly accused Usyk of manipulating the referee, claiming a legitimate body shot from Dubois was wrongly dismissed. In Charles's eyes, this wasn't just an error, it was calculated. He believes Usyk used his experience not just to outfight, but to outsmart the system, costing Dubois a rightful victory. Charles's message is clear. This time, there will be no manipulation. Dubois is returning with...
I feel he knows and he's grown in confidence since that. I mean, he's in a great place, Dubois, and he can win that fight. He's a big, natural heavyweight.
Vengeance in his fists and precision in his punches, ready to finish what Usyk tried to escape. Mark Tibbs, Dubois' trainer, raised the stakes even higher, painting his fighter as a wrecking ball with a purpose. He compared Dubois to a young Mike Tyson, praising his maturity, aggression, and newfound confidence. Tibbs believes this version of Dubois, the reborn destroyer, has the tools to shatter Usyk's defenses. But even with all the noise, there's a cold truth lurking beneath the surface. Usyk isn't just any champion. He's a master of the craft, a fighter whose brilliance lies.
This guy's a beast. He's a good fighter. He's a hard fighter to beat. And I think he'll learn from the mistakes he made in the first fight against Usyk, and it will give him a hard fight. Look, he has the tools to win.
Not just in strength, but in his ring IQ, adaptability, and mental resolve. While Dubois brings raw power, Usyk brings precision. While others rely on emotion, he relies on calculation. Every jab, every step, every feint from Usyk has purpose. He's not just reacting, he's orchestrating. This fight isn't just about who hits harder. It's about who thinks faster, who adapts better, and who can impose their will when fatigue, pressure, and pain close in. Dubois may be stepping into the ring with power and passion, but Usyk steps in with mastery. He's been through wars with the best, stayed composed under fire, and emerged victorious time.
On Daniel Dubois against Oleksandr Usyk, realistically, has he got any chance? We've got 30 seconds.
Of course he has. Look, it's a tough ask, of course. You know, the thing with Usyk is he doesn't depend on his power to knock you out. He depends on his skill. That's why it's a tough ask, because he's going to box rings around you if you let him. Dubois, good luck. Don Charles, good luck. Great British boxing, good luck. We potentially might have a heavyweight championship back on our soil.
And again. Come July 19th, the ring won't just host a fight, it will host a reckoning. For Dubois, it's a shot at rewriting history. For Usyk, it's another chapter in a legacy already built in fire. And when the final bell rings, it may not be the roar of power that echoes, but the whisper of brilliance that leaves the lasting mark. As the clash between Oleksandr Usyk and Daniel Dubois draws closer, the boxing world finds itself split between belief and brutal reality. Amir Khan has added fuel to the fire, hyping up Dubois as a reborn beast, hungry for redemption and dead set on claiming glory. But as loud as Khan's confidence is, Usyk's silence is louder.
Some people are talented, some people are dedicated to the sport, they're not consistent. Or I think the biggest factor is they're not confident in themselves, or they just ain't mentally prepared to be a boxer.
This isn't just another fight. It's a slow-motion execution planned by a master strategist. Dubois may carry devastating power, but Usyk dismantles power the way a surgeon dissects weakness, with cold precision. For Dubois, this fight may feel like a shot at redemption. But in truth, it could be a rerun of destruction. He still lacks the mental sharpness required to survive at the highest level, and against a cerebral assassin like Usyk, that's a recipe for disaster. As boxing analyst Mao Zedong aptly puts it, this isn't a comeback narrative, it's a cold setup. Under the brightest lights, Usyk's ring IQ will expose every flaw, and just like before, Dubois may fall short, not from lack of strength, but from the absence of.
I think Daniel Dubois, he's on a roll. He's coming off of a massive win against AJ. Usyk's also on a massive roll, so I think that fight's going to come down to mindset.
Strategy. Anthony Joshua, who knows Usyk's style firsthand, doesn't mince words when assessing the bout. While he acknowledges that in boxing anything can happen, he stresses that Usyk isn't just a technical wizard, he's a tactician who bends the fight to his will. Joshua praises Don Charles, Dubois' trainer, but warns that Dubois is walking into another realm entirely. A realm where brute strength might not just fail, it might backfire. Alexander Krasyuk, Usyk's promoter, reinforces that point. He's made it clear, Usyk is prepared to give Dubois a first-hand lesson in the art of high-level boxing. Every round, every exchange, will serve as proof that while raw power may thrill the crowd, it pales in comparison to elite-level mastery. Krasyuk doesn't see this as a contest between two.
Problem. Oleksandr Usyk is the best fighter in boxing, period. Of this generation, what he's done at cruiserweight, what he's done at heavyweight, what he's done to all the other British fighters, to do the double over AJ, the double over...
Two equals. He sees it as a demonstration of the gulf that separates the best from the rest. Meanwhile, Mao Zedong returns to the conversation with a harsh dose of skepticism for both fighters. He tears into what he calls the illusion surrounding Usyk and Dubois. In Zedong's eyes, Usyk is more magician than monster, full of slick moves but lacking the heart and grit of true legends. And Dubois? He sees him as little more than raw power, dressed up to look like potential. Zedong argues that both men are products of hype, puffed up by media narratives, and destined to falter against true heavyweight elites. Usyk's technical prowess, he claims, is overrated. Dubois' brute force, ineffective. In the end, neither man, he says, is built for the unforgiving top tier. But others disagree. Chris Eubank Jr. has gone all in on Dubois.
The trainer says to the other fighter and says, you're a cheat and you're not a God-fearing man and you're a liar. And, I think this is just, absolutely insane.
Declaring him unstoppable following his massive win over Anthony Joshua. He believes Dubois' current momentum is undeniable. But here's the twist. Usyk is also on an unstoppable run. Both fighters enter the ring brimming with confidence, but as Eubank Jr. correctly notes, the real war is mental. It's not just about power, it's about focus, poise, and pressure. Who can withstand the weight of expectation and fire with clarity under stress? That answer could determine the outcome. Dubois brings raw aggression. Usyk brings clinical precision. The contrast is stark and explosive. This isn't just a fight, it's a stylistic collision. And when the bell rings, fireworks are guaranteed. But blink, and you might miss the moment the tide turns. Adam Smith, one of boxing's most respected voices, raises the stakes even higher. He calls Usyk the peak of modern-day boxing, praising his seamless transition from cruiserweight dominance to dismantling giants in the heavyweight division. Usyk's wins over Anthony Joshua weren't just victories, they were masterclasses. According to Smith, if Usyk goes on to defeat Tyson Fury, he'll cement himself as the undisputed king of the modern era. His ability to mentally and physically dismantle elite fighters, Smith argues, sets him apart from every other boxer of this generation. Duke McKenzie echoes that sentiment, calling Usyk a living rewrite of boxing history. To McKenzie, no one in the sport matches Usyk's intelligence, precision, and composure. Every time he steps into the ring, he's not just winning, he's redefining what it means to be a champion. Usyk isn't just climbing the ranks, he's changing the rules. Not everyone is so composed, however. Russ Anber erupted in fury following a chaotic press conference where Don Charles, Dubois' trainer, accused Usyk of everything from cheating to manipulation. Anber didn't hold back. He tore into Charles's rant as an unhinged outburst. More desperation than strategy. According to Anber, these wild accusations are the clearest sign that Dubois' camp is cracking under pressure. While Usyk's team remains calm and focused, Dubois' corner is already in psychological retreat. You can't win a war, Anber said, if your generals are waving the white flag before the first shot is fired. So, the question lingers. Can Dubois rise above the noise? Can he ignore the media storm, the criticism, the mental warfare, and deliver the performance of his life? Or is he already outmatched before the first bell? One thing is certain. Dubois will need far more than just power to survive this fight. Against a technician like Usyk, brute force alone won't cut it. He'll need patience, precision, and perfect execution. Because if he doesn't bring all that and more, the result may not just be a loss, it could be another career-defining dismantling at the hands of one of boxing's modern greats. Let us know what you think. Will Dubois finally rise to the moment? Or will Usyk once again prove why he's the man to beat in the heavyweight division? Drop your thoughts in the comments and subscribe for more deep dive analysis.